Hey guys, it's Matt here, and today I'm doing another episode of Matt Rants. So, if you guys have listened to previous Matt Rants, you know that in this slot, I was supposed to actually do the Sega Drive Mini story, the fact that the Sega Drive Mini has actually been delayed into 2019. I want to actually keep it a running joke, at least for a bit, to delay that, because it had to get delayed because of stuff happening last week. Then I talked about the Super Mario Kart thing, the actual cartridge, the Switch cartridge being sold for a lot of money. You can check out that Matt Rants on this channel as well. And I was going to actually do the Sega Drive Mini story, but then something else popped up, the Telltale story. If you don't know about that, well, damn, here you are. At this point, I assumed you would have heard of this already, but okay. You're not just hearing my take on it, you're also going to be hearing the facts as well. So, all right, cool, happy to have you. Either way, if you've never heard of Matt Rants before, then you might not know that we sometimes bring up certain questions. We don't just talk about the data, talk about what's going on, the news and stuff like that, and not just my interpretation of the news and, my take on it. We also bring up certain questions that will be asked and talked about throughout the Matt Rants. So, this time the question is, should Telltale Games release more Walking Dead? But I'm specifically picking out Walking Dead because there are some people out there who are saying that they should finish Walking Dead, and Telltale Games has actually talked about finishing Walking Dead online even after the recent news. So what is the recent news, you might be asking? Well, again, wow, really shocked you haven't heard about this yet. This is not the newest take on this news, but again, happy to have you here. So let's jump into the facts right now before we get into my opinion and whether I go yay or nay on this question. So fact number one, Telltale recently let go most of their staff and without any severance. And when I say most of their staff and without any severance, I mean that legally they are required to give them severance packages. They did not do any of that, and they let go so much of their staff that from what I've heard, from what we've heard online, they literally have about a classroom, and I don't even mean like a large lecture hall, I mean like a small middle school classroom filled with people who are actually trying to finish certain projects that they legally have to finish, and I will get to those in a second or so. So they've let go a bunch of people, no severance pay whatsoever, and literally no notice whatsoever. So that's fact number one. Fact number two, Telltale Games is dropping every other project other than Minecraft because of a deal with Netflix. So yes, they've dropped Walking Dead, even though they're in the middle of a recent season, the last season, and in the middle of releasing the episodes, they're releasing episode 2, but other than that, it's canceled, officially canceled, and all their other projects. However, Minecraft is not, because their deal with Netflix means that they will get sued if they drop that game. Now, they are also dropping Stranger Things, and the reason why I think they're dropping that is because they probably weren't that far into it to have some kind of contract in place where they need to finish it. Maybe they were just in the, very, 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 very early stages. And also, fact number three, Netflix actually wants to release a Stranger Things game with another company, so that would be very interesting, and that's something to look forward to, but not necessarily pertinent to the video, but is somewhat relevant. Also, fact number four, Telltale Games now says investors might be knocking on their door and could help them finish The Walking Dead. Hence, the question for the Matt Rants. So, now the question is, so should they? Well, here's the thing. So, here's my first point. Are they rehiring all the same staff? And I mean every single staff member. Yes, even you, John the custodian. Damn it, you deserve work too. And that's not a joke, by the way. I truly believe that all of these people who've been fired deserve to be rehired. And now, the reason why is because of the fact that, as I'm sure you guys know, as I hope you guys know, games are made by people. What? No way. Shocker. But they are. I swear to God, they are. Even though their algorithms control everything in our daily lives, including YouTube search engines. Yes, they do. So even though algorithms control every single portion of our lives, they actually don't control how games are made, technically. I mean, there's probably some suits in marketing trying to, algorithm the next game or something due to a bunch of data and stuff like that. But the point, though, is that people, creative minds, come up with these games. So games are made by people. And if you're going to say, I don't care about anything else, I don't care about the fact that these people were fired, I don't care, I will still buy this game because I love this game and I really don't care. You really don't care about these people. Maybe that's how you feel. But here's the thing, though. Even if you don't care for some reason, you should care about the fact that these are the people who made the game as good as you think it is. Even if you think the game has been, declining in quality, unless there is a production Bible, which a production Bible in that, that term is used usually either in theater or in, longer movie trilogies, things like that. So when you look at what happened with J.J. Abrams and, what was it, Rian Johnson with the new Star Wars movies, and I'm not going to get into any of that discussion because I know where you guys are going to take this in the comment section. No, I'm not talking about whether or not they were good or bad, but some things potentially seem like they were dropped. I say potentially. Some things were dropped from episode 7 to 8, and I assume that's because there was no production Bible or Rian Johnson wasn't told to follow any potential notes that J.J. Abrams left behind. So usually in theater, that'll happen when one run of a show is kind of ending or a director is stepping down. They'll end up having like a giant book containing all these different facts about the show and things like that, and how X is supposed to run and Y is supposed to do this and Z is supposed to do that. So if that doesn't exist, then they're making the story up from scratch at this point. It's nearing the end game. Are we really going to see the original creators' end game unless we rehire all of them? Also, point number 2, do the staff even want to be rehired? I mean, with the way that they were let go without severance pay, and the fact that their health care by the time this video is out is probably ended, do they even want to come back? And that's the thing we have to think about as well. Even if you try to say, well, I don't care, all I care about is the game being made, that's really all I care about. Again, you really don't care about these people for some reason. If you are coming from that perspective, you still understand that they're allowed to work with the company if they want to or not, and they were just fired from the company. So especially with the fact that they've been fired from the company, even if you don't want to feel any kind of empathy or sympathy or anything like that for these people, the point though is that there are people who have said, hey, people that used to work with Telltale Games said, hey, I just, and they mean just, moved to where Telltale Games is located. I don't remember exactly, but they moved either across country or a couple states downward, got a new house, moved their family, packed their bags, took the kids out of school, did all that stuff to work at Telltale Games. They were actually still hiring. Should have mentioned this in the facts, actually, so sorry about that. They were still hiring at Telltale Games right up until everyone was released. So literally nobody was told about the impending doom until it happened. Not only is that very unprofessional, but what the fuck? And I say what the fuck only because of the fact that they're still trying to operate as a company. They haven't shut down their doors completely. So it's just like why do you think people are going to actually want to work with you in any way after chopping down, releasing about 75 to 80% of your workforce? You really should just close your doors completely after Minecraft. And I'm not trying to say that more people should be unemployed, and I'm not even trying to knock some people at, because I'm not saying everyone at Telltale Games knew the people hiring knew. No, of course not. But the point though is that these people who've been let go, even if we say, oh, they should all be rehired, do they even want to come back? Or other companies have actually stepped up, like Ubisoft and a bunch of other companies have stepped up to say, hey, we would actually like to hire some of you guys. You seem like great talent, so let's have some meetings over lunch. So for all we know, they are not even open to be rehired. And another thing too, with Telltale apparently bleeding money, letting all these people go, you wonder, even if they were given money by investors, which I'll get to a little bit later, even if they were given money by by investors to actually rehire people, the question becomes: what are they going to do? Outbid other companies that are doing better than they are? No, that's not going to happen. So you've probably already lost the staff that you'd have to bring back, or you've potentially lost some they have to bring back to make or to finish the Walking Dead season. And now moving on to point number 3, should we be even buying this game on principle? Or for some of you out there that are like, oh, principle, morals. He's really bringing up morals in this argument? Okay, fine. You can turn that question into, is the well already poisoned? And I say poisoned in the sense that, so I saw on social media, and this is a good thing, so this isn't technically poison, but this is the good thing that on Twitter, either people that I follow or people that liked other things that people wrote, and then I ended up seeing that, and I'm sure you guys know about that whole algorithm thing on Twitter now. So I saw that people were actually, sitting back and saying, I don't want to buy this game. From even if the Walking Dead, heck, even Minecraft, some of these games that are going to get released by Telltale Games, after doing what they did and not informing anyone, not only have you made people sit back and not want to work for your company, but now you've also made fans go, why should I have to support you? Even people that are fans of the Walking Dead games. Now, I've never played one of them. I've heard amazing things, but I've never played one of them. But for those of you that are, or for people that are, from what I've seen, they're turning on Telltale. They're like, I have a lot of gaming commitments. A lot of games are coming out in the near future. A lot of games, especially, any system. Pick any system, pick any console, pick PC. All you need to do is pick PC and Steam, and you know how many games you have in your library. And you're not playing them, and your grandma's disappointed in you. Anyway, my grandma loves me, but the point is, projection, Matt, in this podcast, perhaps. But the point is, though, are there enough people who have not been soured by this to actually justify spending the money to put these 2 episodes out there? I don't think so. I really don't. Because I think that some people might really want the game, of course. Even with all this, they're still like, I want the game, but I don't think I'd spend money on it, but I want it. So do you end up having a situation where people are buying it, secondhand, or if companies are, like GameStop or other companies like that are trying to sell the game, or all of a sudden like, ooh, we're not selling this game, and then they mark it down so much that you end up buying the game for, $10, $20, and that's a sale, but that's not enough money going to Telltale, even though they have already paid for the license. That's already been paid for, the Walking Dead license. But if they're putting the game out or these episodes out for, I actually, like I mentioned earlier, I haven't played Telltale Games, so I don't know how much each episode costs. But still, I don't think they're going to get their money back. That's just my take on it. Again, you can disagree, comment section down below, but I don't think people are going to want to spend that money. The majority of people are going to want to spend any more money on this unless, and here's my 4th point, they already bought the season pass. Now, if some of you bought the season pass, I fully understand why you're upset. And you might even be more upset at the fact that the game has been canceled over some of the employees that have been fired. Now, I personally would be more upset at the employees being fired and then season pass second. But in no way am I going to say that you should be happy based on the fact that you've put money into the season pass. You've put that $20 in there, and all of a sudden now, boom, it's all gone. So don't think that I'm not on your side from at least understanding that you are upset. Don't think that I'm trying to, downplay that at all. I get where you're coming from. For someone like myself, $20 means a lot more than you'd know. So in no way am I sitting there like, oh, it's just $20. No, I actually get where you're coming from. However, though, the question becomes, is your season pass going to even be valid if they continue the game? Will it be valid, or will they have to say, due to some of our issues, you actually have to pay more? Do you want the game? I know you do, but do you want it bad enough that after everything that happened, and you've paid a season pass, you now have to give more money to get it? And again, if they don't bring any of the original crew back to try to work on this, then for all we know, it's going to have a completely different ending. People were making this joke online a little bit here and there, but it's going to be like, Clementine went back to her home planet and just having, her fly into space. We don't know how this is going to turn out. And some people might say, oh, we'll never know. No, I think that if there's any kind of non-disclosure agreements or anything like that, they will be, after a certain amount of days or years, we will get the end in some form or another. I mean, hell, you could easily get the end adapted into a comic book or something like that. Literally, Image can swoop in, hire the people who are writing all this shit, and just write the whole damn thing if the licensing agreements were paid for. So don't worry about it from that end. Hell, Image could be so pissed about everything that's going on here, they can pull the license themselves. That's another thing to think about as well, but I mean, technically not applicable to the question. It's still just food for thought. But still, back to the main point, is your season pass even valid anymore? I don't know. I truly don't know. I'm sure legally it should be, although there's probably some kind of legalese in there somewhere that says actually not JK. I'm sure in better lawyery terms than that, but still, I have no idea, and that's the biggest issue with something like this, because even if you're saying, oh, I don't care about any of the people, anything else, none of that stuff, all I want is my game, you're not only not going to get the same game, but there's a chance that you might have to pay more, even if you've already put money into that season pass. Something I want to mention as well, I guess you can call this point number 5 if you'd like. Earlier I mentioned investors coming in, potentially wanting, to give money and actually help this game finish up, and, I guess give money to Telltale. And, I should also mention that Lionsgate is recently pulled out, and that's why they lost all this funding. And also would like to mention as well, this is just an opinion, but just something to bring up. it probably, I'm gonna assume it costs a lot of money to license all of these different these different characters. They haven't really made, from what I've heard, they haven't really made that many, other than like Wolf Among Us, that many brand new IPs. So when you're sitting there and you're releasing, the game, Batman games, Guardians of the Galaxy, Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, Minecraft, you have to be making, and this is what I would call, and I'm going to use a business term here, a fuck ton of money to actually justify all of those licenses. And I think that they probably were not, at least not enough to then have Lionsgate pull out and then to go, don't worry, we're okay. It reminds me a bit of that meme where it's just, the whole place is in flames and there's that dog creature just like, this is fine. I feel like that's Telltale the second Lionsgate pulled out, and they didn't even tell any of their employees, which is frustrating, but again, not technically relevant to this part of the rant. It's still just frustrating regardless. But anywho, so when I talk about the investors coming in and giving their money, again, what if the investors come in? They're like, we're going to give you money to finish this up. And then you can, for some reason, Telltale can hire every single employee that left. They can, somehow. Don't ask how. They can hire every single employee that left. And you know what? Every single employee wants to come back. It's like, you're just hearing, da 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 da, you and me and you. You hear that entire song, they're all in a meadow. They're having a blast, right? They're coming together. They're going to work together again. Are the investors going to give enough money for them to hire every single one of those people back? Or is it going to be more like, just hire whatever talent you can get, pay as little as possible, because of course these investors want a return on their investment. And when it comes to a return on an investment, you don't give high just to, you don't give high to potentially go low. You give a certain amount, the bare minimum, arguably. I'm not saying it's a good practice. I'm saying that's what they do. They give the bare minimum, and then they go, make magic, make me money. My little money-making machine, and you make them money, and that's what it's about. If you didn't know, that's how it works. So they're not going to sit there and be like, hire all your top-tier talent that have been working with you for a while on the same exact salaries. They're probably going to say, just get whoever you can get. If someone can do the job, just get them. Just get them. Oh, they're newer to this, but they can still do the job. Get them and pay them on fair rates. Now, are they going to say that directly? Well, no, probably not. That sounds terrible to say that outright. But they're not going to give them so much money that they're probably going to be able to get the same people that they had before. That's just how it is. And that's the thing. If they could rehire everybody, pay them well, and not go on super crazy crunch time, which was also an issue as well that people have been saying online, that they got way too much crunch time, and not like the kind of crunch time where it's like, oh, let's be competitive. No, like, I cannot see my families, I am in pain, this is not good, and I'm not getting overtime for this. The bad kind of crunch time. So if that happens again, not only are we back at square one, of course, but still, I don't really see that happening. So we get back to the question, as we're wrapping this up, should Telltale Games release more Walking Dead? As of right now, the answer is no. And the reason why is because it's just not going to be the same, or the reason that I prefer to go with, the fact that they've screwed over so many people. Why do I want to give them my money anymore? Like, I'm not saying you can't love Telltale games that have been released in the past. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy older Telltale games. I'm actually in the process of buying some older games because I've seen that they've released some really cool games, but at the same time, I'm not buying it through them directly. I'm not buying it through Amazon. I'm going on eBay or, retro game shops or whatever to try to get some of these somewhat older titles. Some of them are PS3, some of them are PS4. I'm just going to try and get them if I can, because they do look interesting. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be interested in their older library. I'm just saying, looking at the future, looking at what potentially is coming up, I'm good. Personally, I'm good. and I don't think they need to make any more. Now, you might disagree with me. That's totally fine. Talk to me about it in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you guys think about this, and tell me if you, not only if you think that they should be making any more Walking Dead games, but if they should be making any games altogether. If you actually want to support them after Minecraft, you want them to maybe change their ways or something like that. I really want to know what you guys have to think. So thank you all so much for listening in, and please remember to like and subscribe if you liked the video, and if you didn't like the video, you can still like and subscribe either way. So alright guys, thank you all so much. Love you all. Take care, and tune in next time for another episode of Matt Rants. Maybe I'll do the Sega Drive Mini one next time, or maybe I won't. We'll find out. Okay guys, so love you all. Take care. See ya.